Hey, what's up, everyone? You are listening to the Cineast podcast. I'm your host, Kennedy. And in this podcast, I will discuss cinema, cinema from different countries, and just give you my thoughts of certain films. And if anything, this is just a podcast of a person who loves cinema in general. I guess you could call me a cineast, um, hardcore cinema fan. Um, some tend to, I guess you could say, put us in another category of those who are not too much into mainstream films, but I will tell you I am into mainstream films. But the thing is that I have a deep love and passion when it comes to cinema, especially art house films, films from different countries, and I always felt that part of the passion that I have was that cinema gave me, and I guess you could say it gave me a perspective of life in other countries, about society, and also, you know, I guess you could say when it comes to researching various filmmakers, um, it kind of gave me their perspective of what kind of creativity or what kind of thing was going on in their lives and what kind of direction they wanted to go with a film. There's always a reason why certain films end up a certain way. Certain things that you actually learn within the special features, and that's one of the things I love about Criterion. The Criterion Collection is one of the most awesome investments or collections, you could say, for people who are cinema fans, hardcore, because they come with the booklets. They come with a plethora of special features, but there's just also a respect for the company and it the quality of the films that they present. And even if you do not collect the booklets or the special features, let's say you watch it digital or through the Criterion channel, or even purchased various subtitles such as the Eclipse series or uh, Janus films, Janus collectives, and so forth, you know that you are definitely in for a wonderful ride. Some rides are frightening, some rides are really trippy, and some can be just way out there that you may agree or disagree with, but that's cinema for you. You appreciate it like a work of art, and you can critique it like a work of art. So I'm going to go ahead and start off. One of my favorites, The Seven Samurai, Shichinin no Samurai. And this one was released back in 1954. It's about 207 minutes long, and it's directed by Kurosawa Akira. By the way, for those of you who are not, why I don't say Akira Kurosawa, I tend to use the Japanese family name first. It's just something that I have been raised with, and it's just especially if you go to Japan or if you're talking cinema. Sure, if you're talking with your friends in the U.S., yeah, you could just say Akira Kurosawa. But if you're going overseas, you tend to go by Kurosawa and Kurosawa Akira, and people are like, "Oh, okay." Otherwise, if you say it the Western way, people are just like, "What the hell are you talking about?" But anyway, this one was produced by Motoki Sojiro, and you get the music by Hayasaka Fumio, and cinematography by Nakai Asakazu. And this was edited by Kurosawa Akira, and features the wonderful production design by Matsuyama Takashi and the costume design by Yamaguchi Mieko and Izaki Kohei. So this film stars Mifune Toshiro and Shimura Takashi, and there's just so many people in this film. But I have to say this is possibly one of the most thrilling movie epics of all time. Um, Many who own the films in the Criterion Collection will often say that this film is a must-have, and I have to agree. I don't know how many times I bought this film. I had it on DVD, I had it on Blu-ray, I had it now on Ultra HD. It's one of those films that is just a classic that you want to keep. And this is actually the second film of the Criterion Collection, which was originally released back in 1999 and then re released in 2006. The third time is indeed a charm, as Kurosawa's masterpiece was released in Blu ray and then Ultra HD. It just gets better and better. So it's just whichever you get, it does not matter unless you are a hardcore, um, you know, if you have the equipment to watch films in uh, 4K Ultra HD or so. Otherwise, if you're watching on your phone, it really does not matter um, to most people. But if you are a cinemaphile, yeah, I can understand. You want everything in Ultra HD. I prefer everything to be in Ultra HD, 4K Ultra HD, but um, one has to realize that I'm the type of guy who, well, at one time in my life, I don't want to say now because things have changed now with, depending on where you live and stuff like that, you can't just have the 7.1 system speakers shaking the house and shaking your neighbors and them complaining that your sound is so loud. But if you are in it, just if you have the wonderful setup to watch cinema, especially in Ultra HD. It's definitely worth it. But again, it's not everything. You can watch an HDX. And if you don't have an HDX and you find a copy in DVD, it's not bad. I mean, the thing is that, of course, the newer ones, the latest release, these have been restored, digitally restored, and they look even better. So just know that. Just know that. But if anything, um, my feeling is watch the film, and if you just enjoy to watch the film, and if you're just one of those people that watch films once in a life, once in a while, unless you truly love it, then invest in it. But if I mean, buy it. I don't want like to use the word invest, but the thing is that I could tell you that Criterions have been really good for collections, and people have often asked, "Hey, I'll buy that off you," usually out of print stuff. But anyway, um, you know, with this film, Seven Samurai, it's a wonderful highlight in the oeuvre of Kurosawa, and it was a film in which the filmmaker wanted to make a real jidaigeki, uh, which is Japanese for period film. Having success with the last film Ikiru and previous films such as Rashomon, Stray Dog, Drunken Angel, to name a few, Seven Samurai stands out amongst his films because not only is it a samurai film, but it's a film which captures the period of Ronin, who have no master and are trying to survive, some who have become bandits and prey on weak villages. And for all its 207 minutes of thrilling and compelling cinema, this is a film in which Kurosawa is deeply focused, and a film in which he expects nothing less from his crew and his talent. This film demanded pure dedication, talent, and staff working in frigid, cold conditions and wanting to make viewers feel that it was just a rainy day. And it's as simple as that, right? um, but the thing is that, he demanded the very best from his staff. And this film was anything but simple. This is a film that demanded one's respect, one's dedication, and watching this film in its entirety, you can't just help but be in awe of how thorough, how multi-layered, and most of all, how awesome this film would be no matter which generation you came from. This film is truly a masterpiece. So, Seven Samurai takes place after the Civil Wars, a time when samurai who have lost their master are now roaming from village to village just to find a job or ways to survive. Meanwhile, bandits, who were former samurai, have went from village to village to kill, cheat, and steal young women from the village as their sexual objects. For one farming village, one of the villagers who is hiding and listening to the bandits hear that they were going to go to return to the village they just pillaged after their crops have grown and are to be harvested. The village farmers and their families survive off their rice crops, and it's so bad that they hardly have anything left as it is. The villagers know they are at a breaking point and things are getting worse. Some want to fight back, but others feel that they don't have what it takes to fight back. They are scared, they are weak, and they don't know what else they can do. That is until the village elder recommends them to find and hire samurais who would fight for them, something the elder has seen once before a long time ago. Samurai who will come because they are hungry, and at the village, they can definitely provide the rice that is needed. So the first story arc features the farmers going to a larger village in search of samurai, but the problem is, not one of them is interested until they meet Kanbei, who is played by Shimura Takashi, a strong and respectable samurai who is willing to help. Alongside with him is a young ronin named Katsushiro, played by Kimura Ko, who want to learn from Kanbei. And from there, Kanbei is joined by an old friend, Shichiroji, played by Kato Daisuke, who finds another samurai named Gorobe, played by Inaba Yoshio. And Gorobe ends up finding Heihachi, played by Chiaki Minoru. With 5 samurai, we then see Kanbei trying to recruit a master swordsman named Kyuzo, who is played by Miyaguchi Seiji. And all they need is one. That one last person happens to be the unusual wannabe samurai, which the group has named Kikuchio, played by Mifune Toshio. The second arc deals with Kanbei and fellow samurai as they plan out their strategy of defense against the bandits, and also train the farmers on how to protect their land, which leads to the final arc, which deals with the confrontation with the bandits, who have now arrived near the farming village to make their attack and pillage, and the samurai and farmers are ready to defend their home. So, one of the things that people will notice when the film went in HD, its original aspect ratio was 1:33:1, standard definition. According to the Criterion Collection, the original negative of the film is no longer available, so a duplicate negative was created from the original fine-grained master positive using wet-gate processing. I don't want to go into the full technical details, but I did, I remember when I first compared the HD version and the previous 2 Criterion Collection DVD releases, and all I can say is that Seven Samurai and Blu-ray, look very fantastic, and now with Ultra HD, it's even better. But again, um, any of these that you purchase, even if you find it used, it's still worth it. So again, don't get too hung up over unless you're a cinemaphile that has the full blown setup and can appreciate Ultra HD. Otherwise, if you're just watching on a small phone or anything, or just if are you getting it digital or whichever way you are watching the Seven Samurai in this modern age, as many people are not buying as many physical releases unless you are still hardcore about it and you still want those special features and those booklets. Yeah, definitely the physical release is definitely the way to go. But yeah, there are just a lot of details and patterns that can be seen vividly via HD, as well as the detail of the surrounding area of the farming village, from the buildings to the fields, as well as the close-ups of the characters' faces. You can actually see the strands of hair instead of just one big black and gray mesh, but you can see those things quite clearly. Blacks are nice and deep, whites and grays, their contrasts are just right, and if anything, the Ultra HD and the HDX just looks simply fantastic. Now, the sound was originally presented with a monaural soundtrack, mastered at 24-bit from an optical soundtrack print. Criterion definitely removed a lot of the clicks, the thumps, the hiss, and the crackle was attenuated. But yeah, this is just a wonderful, wonderful soundtrack. And you can definitely hear the clarity of Hayasaka's score. As for special features, there's a plethora of them. I'm not going to really go into the special features because again, there's a difference. There's I notice in 2025 as Criterion collections are now becoming more available digitally. A lot of people who collect them digitally do not get the special features and the booklets, while the hardcore Criterion fans who do buy physical releases, um, they tend to, you know, they tend to prefer their physical releases because of the content that Criterion releases. Um, so, for example, if you were to get it digitally, it's just the film itself. If you were able to get it on, let's say, the Blu-ray or even Ultra HD versions or even the DVD versions, I know that the Blu-ray, it came with audio commentary, and you had several people doing the audio commentary on the on this roundtable of different scholars talking about the film. You also had audio commentary from the 1999 DVD by Japanese film expert Michael Jack. But then you also have Akira, Kurosawa. It is wonderful to create. This is the making of Seven Samurais as part of the Toho Masterwork series. Um, the My Life in Cinema, Akira Kurosawa, film for the Directors Guild of Japan. And this showcases Kurosawa talking with filmmaker Oshima Nagisa. Seven Samurai Origins and Influences is a documentary exclusive for the Criterion Collection. And you have various scholars talking about the samurai in Japanese films and so forth. But yes, there's also a 60-page booklet that I remember that they came with back then. But again, is it necessary? No. But if you are a cinema fan, you kind of like to, learn. For those who really want to delve and learn more about the film and the filmmaker, especially Kurosawa, you definitely want to get those special features. But it's not, you know, I think for a lot of people, the fact that you can get these films, these digital films, like when they have these Criterion sales, um, you can get them for $5, right? On sites like Fandango at home, where I know that with Criterion, everyone depends on those Barnes and Nobles or Amazon or even the Criterion.com sales that happen when they're like 50% off. But it just depends on you. If you really care about HD or uh, or standard, if it doesn't matter to you, um, I do know that for my collection of Criterion, I have a good mix of both, and I also get the digital as well. My feeling when it comes to digital is that I like the idea of having to watch things mobile, but at the same time, um, I like the idea of having digital for the sake of not having. Um, well, I can't say not having because I still have them, but I guess for a lot of people, it's more of to reduce clutter, right? And I think for those of us who do have the physical releases and are just the big fans of Criterion Collection, we'll have it, all over our wall or something like that. And um, with the whole, back then I used to have them in, I still do have them in chronological order, spine order, but there was a time when I had the the Blu-rays, when you could read it through the spine, pointing out. Now I have to stack them because I have so much, and yeah, it's just Those are some of those dilemmas that you have as a fan, a Criterion fan, that you'll have to make if you do get the physical releases, because once you catch one, or once you get one, you're going to definitely get more. And so I think that's where for digital, for those of you who are not wanting to spend 10 to 20 or even more for certain Criterion collections, the digital is definitely affordable, especially again that they have these deals for $5, which is freaking wonderful. Especially $10 is wonderful. But um, I it's really impressive to see that Criterion Collection is now releasing the collection on other platforms. Granted, they know that for people who really want the special features and those booklets, will continue to get those physical releases. So, anyway, I went on a tangent right there, but going back to the Seven Samurai, um, there's no doubt that the Criterion Collection is passionate about Kurosawa Akira and his work. From the various Criterion Collection releases to the Eclipse series releases and the AK 100 set released several years, well, not several years now, but Kurosawa Akira is a filmmaker that many people all over the world respect. His films are respected, and with the announcement of with those with each announcement that Criterion makes with of Seven Samurai, many fans often wait patiently for the better version to be released, and um, whichever version you get, I think a lot of you will be pleased with the film, and if you get the physical releases with the special features as well. The film exemplifies the magnificence of Kurosawa, and all I could say is that it's not, it includes the intermissions, and it's not hacked and cut like when it was first released in the U.S. See, in Japan, it was uncut. In the U.S., back in when it was released in 1954, the 207-minute film was reduced to 160 minutes, and further cuts were made. I can't even fathom this film being shortened, as nearly every minute, every hour of this film was important to the story. But there's so much to love about Seven Samurai. Its storytelling is well paced. The characters, especially the samurai, were well planned and their scenes were well written. The discussion of strategy was well thought and planned, and the action is well executed. Both actors that have worked with Kurosawa Akira in his previous movies, Shimura Takashi and Mifune Toshiro, they were both fantastic in this film. Shimura is Kanbei, the disciplined leader who is aware, always thinking, and is very astute when it comes to the samurai way, and always practicing caution with his knowledge of strategy and how the farmers can use their surroundings to their advantage. It's one thing for Shimura to shine 2 years early as Watanabe Kanji in the 1952 film Ikiru, but in Seven Samurai, Shimura fit the part as samurai leader, convincing and a leader on screen that wins your respect, and you want this man to truly succeed. As for Mifune Toshiro as Kikuchio, the guy is phenomenal as an actor. He's a popular actor in Kurosawa films such as The Drunken Angel, Stray Dog, Rashomon, but in Seven Samurai, Mifune masterfully plays the wannabe samurai Kikuchio, who try to convince everyone he is a samurai, but his public display, his awkward and weird and unusually abrasive and crude style at times, shows that he's a man with a kind heart and a man who wants to be with men like Kanbei and earn his respect as one of them. But no matter how unusual Kikuchio is, whether he is impulsive, talks a lot, laughs a lot, and downright mouthy, this is a character who definitely rises to the occasion. And you can't help but also respect and root for him. And yeah, there was just awesome performances by nearly every actor, but both men were definitely um, awesome, I guess you could say. The main characters and the supporting characters are well thought of and they're well utilized. Each talent and even the crew braved through cold weather, cold water, and gave the best performance on screen as Kurosawa demanded and expected the best and got the best performance out of them. As mentioned, the film is 207 minutes long, but by no means does this film make you want to look at the clock. I've seen long films before, but with Seven Samurai, you're literally going to be glued to your seat because it is that captivating. Film critic Roger Ebert wrote in his review of the film, Akira Kurosawa's The Seven Samurai is not only a great film in its own right, but the source of a genre that flowed through the rest of the century. And he wrote that in his book, Roger Ebert, The Great Movies. Seven Samurai is a wonderful triumph in cinema. Kurosawa's wanting to create a Jidaigeki samurai film, but wanting to make it real, making it entertaining for the viewer that no matter how long the film is, the viewer is captivated. You know, one thing that we know this war with the bandits is not going to go perfectly. Um, you could just tell. It's just usually with Japanese samurai films, you know, unless it's like anime where samurais are gifted, or even video games where samurais are just treated as supernatural beings or so. Um, this film, it just shows how war is. Some will live, some will die. But we watch to see how well the plans of Kanbei, the leader, is executed. How well they will prepare the farmers to defend their home against these ruthless and cunning bandits who also have other weapons such as muskets and bows and arrows to their disposal. Film critic Pauline Kael wrote about Seven Samurai in her "It is the Western Form Carried to Apotheosis, a vast celebration of the joys and torments of fighting, seen in a new depth and scale, a brutal imaginative ballet on the nature of strength and weaknesses, and weakness. I'm sorry." That was from Pauline Kael from her book For Keeps. Seven Samurai is a battle of underdogs versus a large group of samurai turned bandits, and we find ourselves supporting the Seven Samurai and the farmers and hoping they become victorious. But with victory comes a prize. It's not just about the battle, it's about the relationship of each characters. The samurai who follow the Bushido way, the farmers who hire the samurai for protection, but at the same time have their own secrets of what they have done to samurai in the past. The farmer who lives with revenge for the wife that was taken from him. The man who wants to be a samurai but sympathizes with the farmers for a reason. There are so many layers within this film, masterfully pieced together with amazing shots that Kurosawa is known for. And like a maestro, he manages to make those 207 minutes incredible. Definitely an incredible cinema experience. The word masterpiece can be a bit misused and even overused, but there is no doubt Seven Samurai is a Kurosawa masterpiece and a truly magnificent, epic film. So I definitely, definitely, definitely recommend anyone who wants to get into Kurosawa, Akira films, definitely give Seven Samurai a chance. Seven Samurai is Kurosawa Akira's ultimate masterpiece. It has been one of the highlight releases for the Criterion Collection for decades. It's a film that many cinema fans have in their collection. If you're a cineast, it's practically an essential to have in your collection. So definitely, definitely give this film a try. Give this film a chance. Whether you watch the film or get it on physical release, um, Seven Samurai is a 5-star film and also a 5-star Criterion release. Definitely highly recommended. Okay, everyone, you take care, and I will see you later. Wink, wink, and